Now we move to Admiral Nanda's time, and that is 1971 war. Would you like to explain what was Op Trident?
Well, it must start with General Manekshaw. In April, he was told, let's go to war, because there was Jayaprakash Narayan and there were politics with Mrs. Gandhi. He went to Mrs. Gandhi and he said, I'm sorry, I'm not ready for the war. She had 5 million East Pakistani Bengalis to feed. India was going to go broke. She went round the world, and I can say it on camera today because it's public. She begged President Bush to stop Pakistan from what it was doing, genocide in Bangladesh. It is famous now that the records are out, the audio is out. She called and said, he said, what does the bitch think? Now with that
was Nixon perhaps.
Sorry, President
Yes.
Nixon, my
Yes.
apologies. And therefore, he came back, she said, we have no option but to go to war. But she heeded Shaw's advice and waited for the monsoon to get over. And it was planned that we'll go to war. You know, he acted like a chief of defense staff. Punjabi mein gal karde thi Admiral Nanda, Admiral Lal, the Manekshaw. Admiral Nanda went to Mrs. Gandhi and said, I'm going to go to Karachi. He got permission. In the meeting, he requested Air Chief Marshal Lal, I want one strike on Karachi. Punjabi vich gal kar rahe si. They were talking in Punjabi. And then Air Chief Marshal Lal, who was a great theoretician, he said, no, in the first strike, if we get down our planes, morale will go down. I'm sorry, we don't have the range. And General Manekshaw said, Chota pra, ek strike mang rahe hai, marange te marange. Asi ladai karan ja rahe hain, mohabbat karan nahi ja rahe hain. So that is the start of Op Trident. Missile boats which came from Soviet Union, we towed them. I was on the first towing and we found out nylon hawsers. Nylon hawsers to take boats like towing to Karachi was the idea. So we were ready for Op Trident. 3rd of December, Mrs. Gandhi wanted somebody else to start the war, Pakistan, not India. So she told Raw and others to spread the word that we will go to war on 4th. 3rd, Pakistan attacked 6 airfields of the Indian Air Force. It is said the chiefs were warned, but they did not take it seriously, so we had damages. But on 4th night, she said, we are at war with Pakistan on All India Radio. One of our missile boats was with the fleet. Admiral Nanda was delighted that the missile boat will go to Karachi. Unfortunately, the fleet operations officer said, we have been spotted. They didn't go. He rang up Admiral Kohli in the Western Command and said, where are the other 3 missile boats? Admiral Kohli woke up and he sent the 3 missile boats to Karachi in Op Trident. They went to Karachi and sank 3 ships on 4th night.
3 ships?
Yes.
Okay.
Shah Jahan, Khyber, and Musafir. 3 ships, 1 merchant ship, of course. Now, luckily, on 4th morning, the Indian Air Force knew the Navy wanted a strike. So Dawn Conquest had hunters with him with long-range tanks. And he went to his commanding officer, another wonderful Anglo-Indian officer, and said, what am I going to tell my children? That I didn't take part in the war? My hunters? He said, I can go to Karachi. 4th morning, 4 officers led 4 planes led by squadron leader Dawn Conquest, later wing commander, went to Karachi. They had no maps except the tourist maps. They were told not to touch civilian areas. So they went over the Kamari oil tanks. And there, his right pilot said, leader, I see oil tanks shining with the sun. They opened fire. Kamari was on fire. That night, Trident 3 ships were sunk. And on the eastern coast, that day, Ghazi got sunk. Indian Navy did information warfare. Pakistan knew that there is going to be war. So they sent Ghazi to Vishakhapatnam because the Indian Navy did information warfare. उन्होंने सिग्नल बना दिए कि भाई विक्रांत विशाखापट्टनम में आ रहा है, आलू इतना भेज दो, मटन इतना भेज दो, खाना इतना भेज दो, ये तैयारी कर दो. बट विक्रांत वॉज इन एंडमन्स. Vikrant was in Andamans, and therefore Ghazi, outside Visakhapatnam, sank because depth charges were falling. The depth charge did not hit Ghazi, but either there was an explosion or because she was carrying mines, they exploded. Fourth, Ghazi sank. Or Trident on one
And
side.
the sinking of Ghazi was on 4th December.
Yes, 3rd and 4th of night. The explosion was heard. The fishermen brought a lifebuoy. They were given 12 rupees.
Okay.
उस ज़माने में 12 रुपया भी बहुत था. They were given 12 rupees. But at that time, investigation by Admiral Krishnan and Sharma proved the Ghazi had sunk. Now that you ask me the question, New Delhi said, give us proof. Navy divers went down, and on 8th, Lieutenant Commander Nagrani flew with information, logbook, compass, etc. from the Ghazi to Delhi. And I believe for 4 minutes, when Mrs. Gandhi announced this in the parliament, the clapping did not stop. Because can you imagine, 4th, we have attacked Karachi, 8th, Operation Python, we have got control of East Pakistan.
We will
Ghazi,
stay at Trident. Krishnan was
East Coast.
East Coast.
Admiral Kohli.
Kohli was the West Coast.
And I will give you another secret.
Yes.
The Indian Navy did not admit that the Air Force attacked because the BBC reported the next day, Kemari is on fire.
Okay.
And when Air Force went and reported to Air Chief Marshal Lal that I think we have attacked Kemari, Air Chief Marshal Lal also give me proof. So the hunters which had gone down, आप इतना जाने एयर फोर्स में अगर जो आप सबूत नहीं दे, लड़ाई में आपने सबूत नहीं दिया, तो चीफ कभी नहीं अनाउंस करता. लेकिन वो कैमरा रोल तो भाई उस हंटर में था. वो हंटर यार सोच रहे थे कि कहाँ है हंटर. अभी आपका उनको राजस्थान में चाहिए था. That operation in Rajasthan where Indian Army was taking place, Air Force went to help. So it is only later that we found out that the Air Force hit on 4th morning, Navy sunk ships on 4th night, Vikrant and Ghazi went down and Vikrant hit airfields. So by 8th, when Parliament was clapping and clapping that Ghazi is gone down, India's morale was very high.
Thank you very much. So we have gone up to 8th December. Stay with us. We will have more coverage on the 71 war and India's
You will have
Navy's
more coverage, but I
participation
must give you one
subsequently.
bad
Yes.
news. On 8th, 9th night, 176 people on INS Kukri went down. Pakistan Navy submarine Hangor struck Kukri because she was doing some trials, and Captain Mullah Mahavir Chakra put a cigarette to his mouth. Melville de Mello made this very colorful on All India Radio. He took off his life jacket and gave it to another. He sat on the captain's chair, and Captain Mullah, in the traditions of the old Navy, was smoking a cigarette, and he went down with INS Kukri.
That is what is gallantry, that's the leadership. We will have more about this. Be with us. Thank you.